Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu 5 and today I'm reviewing the Emerson Combat Karambit. And before I get started on the review, let me get the stats out of the way since that's the boring part. And start off with the blade length is 2.6 inches. The blade steel is 154 cm. And the blade finish is obviously black. By the way, I love Emerson's black coating. It's almost indestructible. The locking mechanism is titanium, and the handle scales is black G10. You will also notice that this blade is a chisel grind, meaning that it's only ground on one side, flat on the other. Some people like that, some people don't. I really don't care as long as it cuts well, and this knife can cut well, so it doesn't bother me. Now there are several reasons I like this knife. One that is culturally significant. It's an ethnic knife, and for those of you who follow my channel know that I like historically significant and culturally significant knives. This knife originated from Indonesia, and it's kind of designed after a tiger's claw, if you will, and it's a great design, developed in Indonesia, spread throughout Southeast Asia. You can find this knife in Malaysia, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, even Thailand. It's such a great design, and even though some people will look at this knife and say it is a dedicated edged weapon, in the Philippines it's actually used more of a agricultural tool, used as a hand sickle, if you will. But I like it for that purpose. You know, to me it's like owning a karambit from Southeast Asia, but this one's made in America. I like it for that reason. I also like it for the practical and tactical reasons. If you see my video on switchblades, how fast are they and is it worth it, then I think I've pretty successfully demonstrated that this is the fastest folding knife you can get on the market. All you have to do is configure it where it's in the reverse grip in your pocket, put your finger in the finger hole, pull up and out, and the knife opens. So in a self-defense situation, you basically, it's one motion. You grab it, pull, and it opens. So to me, every millisecond counts, and that's where this knife shines. That's actually the reason why I got this knife, is to use as my self-defense knife when I'm at work. I carry it in that front, I guess you'll call it a knife pocket, in the 511 pants, and it's just, it's out. It's faster than a switchblade, it's faster than most assisted blades, and it's faster than most waved knives. So it's a well-designed knife. Congratulations, Artist Emerson, for making a home run. Now, there's another cool feature of this knife. First off, I want to say this: I do not categorize this knife as a fighting or combat knife. There's just certain criteria that it does not meet for it to be a fighting or combat knife. Although you can call it a tactical folder, I call it a self-defense tool or a back off, get off of me knife. Don't get me wrong, just because I call it a back off, get off of me knife doesn't mean you can't tear someone up with this thing. You can cause some serious damage with this knife, and it's deadly. But the way I envision this knife being used is that you're being attacked, you draw the knife, you cut them off of you, and you get out of there. That's how I see this knife being used. And another use for this knife, a great use for this knife, is to be a weapon retention tool for police officers. Say you have this in your weak side configured in a reverse grip carry, and someone tries to take your gun, you retain that gun with your strong hand while at the same time drawing and opening the combat karambit. You cut the person off of you, and at that point you can rack the slide if you don't have one in the chamber, which I think that you'll probably already have one in the chamber. But let's just say you go to shoot and you have a dud, or the gun does not go bang. You can cock it, shoot, and you successfully retained your weapon. So I think this is a great tool for a police officer to use on the weak side as a weapons retention tool. Now, there is one downside to this knife, and that is that it's a pricey knife. Although it's sold out at my favorite online knife store, knifeworks.com, you can buy it at Blade HQ for $209.95 shipped. To a lot of people, that's a lot of money to spend on a knife. It's a lot of money for me to spend on a knife. But if Cold Steel made a triad locking waveable karambit, I probably would have bought it before buying this one. But at that same token, this is kind of a double-edged sword. I am very, very happy with this knife. And I'm very happy that my money went to an American-made knife company. And I like to support American businesses. So my hint or tip to Cold Steel would be to make a triad locking waveable karambit, folding karambit, for those who don't have the money to spend on one of these. But if you like to support American business and you don't mind spending the extra money, this is well worth it. It's a great tool, and a lot of people will see this as a dedicated weapon. And I don't know why. Some people don't like dedicated weapons. They want something more practical. Or some people just don't like the fact that other people carry weapons. But like I said, in the Philippines, this is mostly an agricultural tool. And this does not have to be a dedicated weapon. You can EDC this. You can open up boxes. You can cut rope, string. You can sharpen pencils. You can still use this knife as a knife. You just can't use it with a cutting board, or you can't use it to clean animals. And I've talked about this before. There was not one knife that can do it all. There are some people who like to think there are all certain knives that can do any task, but really there is not one knife that can do all of the jobs. So every knife is limited in its use. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. This has a wicked point. I know from first-hand experience. I was sitting down, I was being kind of careless. I was talking to a guy about knives. I wanted him to show him this knife. So I proceeded to pull it out of my pocket, and it waved without me knowing it. And it dug into my hand, pierced through, and then ripped a gash in me. And I bled like a stuck pig. Bled all over my clothes, all over the floor. I proceeded to, I said, hold this, and I handed him the knife, and I got my bandana, wrapped up my hand. I ended up having to go back to the house to change clothes. Now this was at a church function, and I had to change clothes. The guy that I handed the knife to ended up cleaning up my blood because the person next to me does not like blood, which I guess I can kind of understand. Blood doesn't bother me unless it's blood of someone I care about, but it bothered her, so he went ahead and cleaned it up, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, this point is needle sharp, and it does not take much effort to thrust this into something. I thought you needed to know that. I probably did not need to tell you that story because it was pretty bloody, but there you go. It's a good point. It's a very pointy point. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. My name is Satsu5. Hope y'all have a great day, and I am out.